leaked audio from a corrupt referee, an FBI investigation into a multi-million-dollar betting conspiracy, a brave coach exposing 27 uncalled fouls with frame-by-frame video evidence. For the past week, this is the story that has completely dominated the WNBA world. It's a narrative so explosive, so perfectly villainous, that it has generated millions of views and convinced an entire fan base that the Fever Aces playoff series was systematically rigged. It is the biggest scandal in league history, and it is a complete and total lie. What if I told you that the entire referee controversy, the leaked audio, the FBI, the 27 fouls, was a fabrication, a digital ghost story designed for clicks? And what if I told you that this perfectly crafted work of fiction served as the ultimate smokescreen, a massive, noisy diversion to distract you from the real investigation happening behind the scenes? An investigation that doesn't involve a referee's whistle, but instead alleged illegal under-the-table payments that could threaten the very competitive balance of the WNBA. Today, we're going to expose the lie, and then we are going to show you what they hid from you. We are a community of narrative analysts here, and this is the kind of deep-dive investigation we live for. So if you believe in filtering out the noise to get to the truth, do me a favor and hit that like button. It's a massive signal to us that you want more of the story behind the story. All right, let's start by dismantling the lie. The viral story you saw was built on a foundation of expertly manipulated half-truths. It took a real league-wide frustration with officiating and twisted it into a full-blown conspiracy. The centerpiece of this fictional narrative was Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White, painting her as a lone warrior fighting a corrupt system. But to understand the truth, we have to look at a different coach entirely, Cheryl Reeve of the Minnesota Lynx. The most significant real officiating controversy of the 2025 playoffs didn't happen in the Fever Aces series. It happened when Reeve was ejected and subsequently suspended and fined $15,000 for confronting officials after a controversial no-call that led to her star player getting injured. She called the referee assignment for that game effing malpractice. That was the real epicenter of the officiating drama. So where did Stephanie White fit in? She publicly supported Reeve's comments, stating that she made a lot of valid points and that there needs to be accountability. For that simple act of solidarity, the WNBA fined her. The creators of the fake scandal took that real, documented event, White's frustration, and her fine for supporting another coach, and used it as the launching point for their fiction. They built a universe of lies around a single kernel of truth, the leaked audio, fabricated, the worldwide trending hashtags, unsubstantiated, the federal investigation into WNBA betting, it doesn't exist. The real federal gambling probes in sports have involved NBA players and college programs, not the WNBA. The entire narrative was a house of cards. So, if the referee scandal was the lie, what's the truth? What is the real story that this massive cloud of digital smoke was helping to obscure? To find that, you have to filter out the noise of the whistles and start following the money. Because while thousands of fans were being whipped into a frenzy about fictional referee conspiracies, the WNBA was quietly conducting a real and far more serious investigation into the Las Vegas Aces, an investigation that has nothing to do with officiating and everything to do with the salary cap. According to multiple verified reports, the league has been probing the Aces for allegedly circumventing the WNBA's salary cap rules through a series of under-the-table payments. Now, for our newer narrative analysts here, let's break down what that means. The salary cap is the bedrock of competitive balance in a professional sports league. It's the rule that says every team can only spend up to a certain maximum amount on player salaries, preventing the richest owners from simply buying up all the top talent and creating a super team that no one else can compete with. It is, in theory, what keeps the league fair. The investigation into the Aces alleges that the organization devised a clever and illegal way to get around that cap. The accusation, as reported by outlets like ESPN and CBS Sports, is that the team arranged for third-party companies to offer certain players lucrative side deals. These deals would provide players with substantial extra income for what sources described as negligible work. So, on paper, the player's official salary fits under the cap. But in reality, they are receiving a significant amount of extra, off-the-books compensation, giving the Aces an enormous and unfair advantage in recruiting and retaining star talent. This isn't about a missed call or a bad whistle. This is an accusation of a calculated financial scheme to deliberately break the rules that ensure the entire league remains competitive. It's an attack on the very foundation of fair play. So let me ask you, what do you think is a bigger threat to the WNBA, a few controversial calls in a playoff game, or a systematic plot to illegally circumvent the salary cap? Let me know your take in the comments below. The silence around this real investigation, when compared to the fabricated outrage over the fake one, is deafening. The viral videos about the referees generated millions of views by creating a simple, emotional story with clear heroes and villains. But a story about complex financial arrangements and salary cap regulations, that's not as easy to turn into a viral bombshell. It requires a deeper level of analysis, and frankly, it's a much more uncomfortable truth for the league and one of its marquee franchises to confront. This is why the fake referee scandal was the perfect unintentional smokescreen. It created a tidal wave of emotion and directed it at the easiest, most visible targets in sports, the officials. It's a simple, satisfying narrative. It's much harder to get enraged about salary cap bylaws and third-party contracts. The creators of the fake news gave the public a monster to slay, and while everyone was chasing that monster, the much more complex and dangerous situation was left completely in the shadows. The viral fiction, whether by design or by accident, provided the perfect cover. It pulled focus, monopolized the conversation, and allowed a real, potentially league-altering investigation to proceed with minimal public pressure or scrutiny. So, when we connect all the dots, the final picture becomes terrifyingly clear. We, the fans and analysts, were baited into chasing a digital ghost. The story of a grand referee conspiracy was a masterclass in modern misinformation, built on just enough real frustration to feel plausible. But while we were debating whistles and phantom fouls, the real threat to the WNBA's integrity was never on the court. It was in a quiet backroom with contracts and clauses designed to break the very system of competitive balance that the league was built on. What they hid from you wasn't a referee plot. It was a sophisticated financial allegation that has the power to undermine the entire sport. And the greatest trick they ever pulled was making you look the other way. So what's your take on all this? Do you think the fake referee scandal was an intentional diversion, or just a case of viral misinformation that the Aces and the league inadvertently benefited from? Let us know your theory in the comment section below. If you believe the real story is never the official story, and you want to be part of a community that will continue to track the real investigation into the Aces, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. This story is far from over, and you don't want to miss our next update. And finally, if you know someone who got caught up in the fake referee scandal, share this video with them. Every narrative analyst deserves to know the truth, and it's on us to set the record straight.